I don't know who Jay the Cake is a Lie is, but I appreciate any Portal reference. Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Grove, a 9-card solitaire game. This is the follow-up to the sequel to the award-winning Orchard, a 9-card solitaire game. This, Grove, on the other hand, is an 18-card solitaire game that you play 9 cards at a time, sort of, mostly. Let's go ahead and dive into this. This is Grove. This is a solo experience in which you're trying to optimize around how to plant the most fruit, sort of, mostly. Let's just show you how this plays. To start the game off, you're going to go ahead and grab this 18-card deck. You're going to go ahead and shuffle it up. You're going to remove out 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. From there, you're going to go ahead and play with these 9 cards, and in theory, you can go ahead and then when you're done with this game, you grab the other 9 cards and you play again. You could, or you could shuffle it up and just any configuration of however you want to play this. You just need 9 cards from these 18 cards. From there, you're going to go ahead and put one out on the table, and then you're going to try to gather these cards and trying to figure out how to optimally put them onto the board as you go through this, how to try to manage putting these in play. So for example, I can go ahead and place this covering those, because what you can do is you have to cover at least one thing. What you're trying to do is you're trying to cover like colored fruits and not cover in like color. I'm saying that incorrectly. You can't put a yellow over a red is what I'm saying. You can put it over a plains, you could put plains over something else, or you could match the colors. So for example, in this case, I am kind of incentivized to do this over here, at which point I grab the dice and I mark that 2 plus 2 is 4 and 1 plus 1 is 2, and I put those as the new dice on those fruits. My orchard has begun, and now we're trying to stack things up. Past that, you're going to continue this little puzzle, trying to figure out how to place things down in ways that will give you the different configurations of, well, higher dice, higher fruits. So for right now, I want to try to get a yellow in there, because if I can get a yellow in there, and I'm not trying to play optimally because I'm on camera here and trying to go faster, but I could put this under here, which would give me a 3 on this, 1 plus 2, and boost that 4 to a 5, putting that in play. Now this is where it's going to get harder and harder to get those dice to get to higher values as you make it harder to put things around. So for instance, right now I would need something very similar to this actually in order to place this. That wouldn't work, unfortunately. This would almost work, but not really. What you're trying to do is at this point I need a red, and yellow to be able to put that in play, or something very specific and accurate over there, which would be harder and harder as you go. The reason for which is because as you continue throughout the course of the game, eventually you'll tilt that 5 into a 6. And when you do tilt that 5 into a 6, you instead of getting 6, you go ahead and put it over 6. You get to a 6, and then from a 6, you'll get it to this bundle, which is worth 10. You jump straight from 6 to 10 when you were able to do that, and then if you're able to get that 10 higher, you'll jump directly to a 15 and that wheelbarrow instead. The reason that's important is because Grove is a game in which you're trying to score as many points as possible across those 9 cards. And specifically when you get to the little end of the rulebook over there, the how well you did situation, you have anything less than 40 is pitiful. Anything above 60 is you're simply the zest. And you will need that 15 and multiple 10s to be able to get above 60 with only 9 cards. You're trying to get those dice as high as you possibly can, but it gets harder and harder to actually move the values up as the patterns become more exact. As they become more exacting in the sense that getting this section of 4 would require the exact configuration of orange, green, yellow, yellow like so, and the same over here. It is possible, but it gets harder and harder to do so as you play through the game. And so Grove is a game about optimizing. It's a game of trying to find those patterns, place them out, and trying to get as many points as possible before you run out of cards. And that's the basic mode. The way I'll only play the game, like literally the only way I play the game after my first plays of Grove, I played this way, and then I read up the recipe challenge and I started going through the recipe. The way the recipes work is same basic ideas to the game, but rather instead of having 9 cards and 9 cards, what you're going to do is you're going to first, when you go ahead and shuffle those cards up, you're going to go through the other 9 cards and then go ahead and select any 2 cards, and you can do this in any order you want, obviously, but you go ahead and put those out, and now we have fruit basket and orange marmalade. We get at least one basket. If at least one basket is play on a tree or glade, we get a bonus 3 points. So if you're able to get those fruit baskets in play, you'll get extra points there. Or additionally, orange marmalade, play an orange dice on your first turn, bonus 1 point. So this gives us a specific point criteria to go for. In this case, we want to get to 53 points, and we have a different way of getting 4 bonus points as we play. So these combinations, and there's a whole bunch of combinations over here you have orange jelly, at least one orange die that has a value of 6 or more gives us a bonus 6 points, key lime pie, all lime dice score double, lemon meringue pie, at least one lemon die on a tree or glade has a value of exactly 6, bonus 6 points, limoncello, all lemon dice score bonus points. You're going to have these different options as far as different scoring cards that give you specific criteria or ways the game plays out that uses the same central mechanism but gives you a slightly different target to go for, and this is generally the only way I play Grove at this point. And that's Grove. 9 cards, potentially 2 recipes if you're playing it that way, trying to lay them out, overlaying each other properly in order to get as high as possible while building out the fruit. It is simply a pattern building game, trying to construct patterns with the specific configurations of cards and fruits, and doing so as efficiently as possible in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And that's Grove. As far as the review, starting off the bat with ease of play. The rules are incredibly simple. The rules are this over here. This is all we have. We have a tiny little rule book that just is very easy to go through, very small, full of examples. It takes you, I don't know, 3-4 minutes to go through the rules, maybe a bit more. It's a very quick, very easy to play game, and it takes maybe 10 minutes and takes not a lot of table space. This is a good travel game. You could probably play it even on an airplane, one of those, like, fold down table things. Probably. I'm pretty sure you can get this played on an airplane. This is actually not a bad travel game. This is going to be traveling with me the next time I go on an airplane, apparently. But yeah, a very easy table game in all senses. As far as player count, it is a 1-player game. A 1-player game and only a 1-player game, and so I've played it at 1 players. As far as what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking, starting off the bat with the fact that this is a simple puzzle of a game. This is a game that the entire game comes down to trying to recognize patterns. The entire game comes down to trying to put down a card and then trying to see how efficiently you can get things to navigate or move around it as you construct patterns, what trade-offs and compromises you're willing to make as far as trying to find those situations, trying to find, okay, I have to get this in play over here. It won't go like that. It might go like that. It won't go like that. Nope, not like that. Not like that. Can I put it like this? I can put it like this. There we go. Let's put that 4 down over here, and trying to construct those patterns not just based on the single card you have in front of you in your hand, but the other cards you know are possible viable options that you'll have able to play as well. You won't be able to see fully through the deck at all times, but you will have some of the options available to you, and trying to find ways that not just this immediate pattern works, but those next 2 or 3 work in order to, well, give you the points you need. That's how you play this game. That's how you optimize in Grove. And speaking of which, the recipe cards, those scoring cards over there, these are the only way I play the game because they mix up the experience, giving you slightly variable goals to seek, slightly variable ways or adjustments to the scoring that increase or adjust how you're trying to play this game. As far as what I don't like, first of all, sometimes the game can devolve. As much as I said, hey, the game's all about finding those patterns and puzzles, the reverse is true as well. Sometimes the game devolves into how much time you're willing to mentally spend finding a pattern. Sometimes it's not about being able to be clever or see combinations so much as it is just rotating a card again and again and again, and then rotating the next card you have again and again and again. Sometimes it just comes down to how much time you're willing to spend, and that tends to be the less satisfying part of Grove. Additionally, as much as I enjoy the scoring cards, as much as they give you a different way to experience the game, I do find that they lack some degree of, I don't know, interesting variety in them. If you've ever played Sprawlopolis or Against the Buttonshire catalog, you'll know that they have ways of giving you scoring cards that are all interestingly different, versus I find the ones in Grove mostly come down to color matching and small point adjustments, and there are a few that are more interesting, but more often than not, they are nice for the sake of the variety. I like them. It's the only way I play the game, but I wish they were more clever at times. As far as I can see others not liking, first of all, it's easy to get stuck in this game based on your first 2 or 3 cards. If you play poorly in your first 2 or 3 cards, and you have a pattern built up, and you now are already playing inefficiently, the game is already over. That shouldn't matter that much because the entire game is 10 minutes long, but those first few plays are essential to build a construct that is actually buildable in such a way that you'll be able to play and win the game. And secondly is you do have to very much pick which dice you want to level up in order to win. This is not a game purely about just matching the colors and patterns. This is a game about matching them, but being able to double down and triple down the specific dice that you're already started growing, because crossing from 6 to 10 is a chunk of points. Crossing from 10 to 15 is a chunk of points. And so you have to and want to, well, I don't care if you want to, you have to focus on specific dice in order to get to a point where you'll actually be able to score well, beating these challenges or beating the numbers if you're playing with the recipe cards. As far as final thoughts on Grove, this one is a fun little puzzle. Now, it's a fun little puzzle that does cap out as far as how interesting it can actually get, because it only has so much going on. This is a game that I've seen many varieties of this type of game in the past, varieties in which you're trying to play things down onto a board, trying to match different things, overlay in certain ways, trying to do that puzzle. There are many games that have that, not many games, but there's a bunch of games that have that mechanism, and I've always enjoyed that puzzle trying to find the patterns. Grove takes that one simple aspect and makes the whole game about that, but it does so in a way that is rewarding for the experience it's giving you. For a game that takes 10 minutes, plays with 2 different modes, I guess, although I only play with the recipe mode, and for a game that's this accessible, cheap, and portable and all that, Grove does deliver a worthwhile experience. For this one's a 3.5 out of 5 for me. I like it, I enjoy it. It does cap out as far as how interesting it can possibly get, just based on what it's doing, but I do like Grove. As far as other game recommendations, first of all, the most obvious one that's going to come to mind is Sprawlopolis. This very much does have a Sprawlopolis feel, and having a small deck of cards and simply overlaying cards over one another, additionally having some scoring cards, recipe cards that mix up the way. It's not necessarily as evolved as Sprawlopolis, doesn't have as much going on there, but if you like Sprawlopolis, I imagine you'd like Grove and vice versa. And then secondly, Food Chain Island, another button shy game, but another one that gives you a fun, simple, accessible solo game that is an enjoyable puzzle that doesn't go necessarily too deep, but also gives you a challenge at the same time. Food Chain Island is fun button shy's simply solo line, and I highly recommend that one. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.